also benefited from the success of this program.
Economics is the second driver, and most solid waste planners are really focused on the bottom line, the budget. They're trying to find a sustainable funding source and trying to generate enough revenue to cover their costs of their services.
It was clear that we couldn't site a new landfill, close the old ones, start a curbside recycling program without causing substantial pain to the taxpayers for the property tax. It just was beyond what traffic could bear.
All of a sudden, in the next budget cycle, we were going to have to come up with about $1 million. They asked me how I could come up with $1 million in my budget to pay for the disposal of trash in the incinerator. I felt I had two options: general taxation or a user fee. In this climate, I think if you'd gone with general taxation, the bottom line would have been something else somewhere would have been cut, whether it was an education program or something like that.
I think that pay-as-you-throw is very, very attractive in that situation because it is a market-based approach towards managing solid waste, where it uses market forces of cost and price to give the consumer a price signal, and they can do something about it.
We opted for the smallest container available because we were trying to recycle as much as possible, and we also have a small compost in our backyard. So we were paying the lower fees because we were using less service.
But a growing number of citizens are really thinking about the equity issue. And the reason they're thinking about equity is that with the traditional solid waste system, the cost of solid waste services are buried in the tax base, or a flat fee. They're hidden, they're invisible. Citizens have no control over their own waste budgets, and there's certainly no equity.
When you have a flat fee system, as we had, I mean, the people who put out 1 can a week are, in many respects, subsidizing the families that put out 10 cans a week. So, and everybody's paying the same fee regardless of what you're putting out. And that's not fair.
A senior citizen who lives alone might not put out an orange bag more than once a month. And yet a family is going to put out more. But why should the senior citizens' taxes subsidize the other families?
I think there's some satisfaction among citizens in knowing that they are paying for what they are throwing away, and there's some relationship between what they throw away and what they pay.
Regardless of why communities make the switch, one thing is clear. Pay-as-you-throw is an idea that's catching on. Pay-as-you-throw began with a handful of pioneering communities in the 1920s. Today, over 4,000 communities in more than 40 states have adopted pay-as-you-throw in some form. While the programs may vary, the results are the same. Residents recycle more and throw away less.
Typically what we're seeing is that the total amount of waste landfilled is decreasing somewhere between 14 to 27%. Total amount of recycling is increasing somewhere between 32 to 59%.
This is phenomenal. For someone who looked at that and thought, gee, that's a good idea, to see that idea translated into reality is just really flabbergasting.
We've seen over the last 10 years a extreme acceleration in the number of communities adopting pay-as-you-throw programs. I think we'll continue to see that kind of trend over the next 3 to 5 years as more and more communities begin to appreciate the effect that pay-as-you-throw has on their solid waste management systems.
Despite its appeal, pay-as-you-throw does represent a change, and communities that make the switch are likely to face some challenges. Still, pay-as-you-throw is proving to be one of the best ways for communities to meet their environmental goals, promote economic stability, and equitably distribute the costs of managing the garbage we create.
I'm convinced that if a community does the proper spade work, that a volume-based pricing or pay-as-you-throw system will really work in any community. and that it makes just good government sense for people who are using a service to pay for it.
The really great thing about Pay-As-You-Throw is it aligns economic and environmental priorities in the same direction, so they're working to support each other instead of being at odds.
Trash is not a mindless thing anymore. And before, I think it was mindless. You just threw it away. It disappeared. And now they have to think and realize not only are they responsible, but it's a community activity. The whole community is in on this.
A lot of the success of this program really can be attributed to the residents. They have embraced it. There's a wonderful environmental ethic and sensitivity to this area, and the people have really been the champions.
After the number of years our city has been involved with it, I just 100% support it. I think it is the only way for an informed and educated community to go.
I've never heard of it exactly how you're describing it, but it sounds like it might work.
It sounds like a most democratic thing.
I think this is a very good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's the right idea.